than any of the others based on its location and its inability to control that as well because of its location there. But anyways, I just want to put a plea out to the community, like was the case here when this was discovered, to let us know. Our officers are checking the parks on a regular basis. However, you know, in following some of those comments, I see comments of people, well, I had my kids at the park this day and this or that happened. You know, please don't hesitate to contact the police and let us know. The quicker that we can get on those things, the better it is, and the more likelihood that we'll find who is responsible for them. You know, it is the time that probably warrants some discussion about additional cameras around town if necessary. That's something that we could certainly explore. But as much as anything, I just pleaded the community to police each other, you know, and when you're there with younger kids and there's older kids and they're being disruptive or causing a disturbance or being disruptive to property, please let us know so that we can intervene and mitigate that.
At Downey Park, Commissioner Dan Ballinger indicates they are in the process of adding a concrete basketball court thanks to leftover funds in the park budget. Commissioner Ballinger also credited city crews with taking care of an issue with overgrown weeds at Webster Park this week. Also at the Tuesday night Clinton City Council meeting, the council appointed Lloyd Francis as Assistant Public Works Director for 2 months and reappointed Phil Vinson and Francis Jackson to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Get news anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
This is staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with your regional radio forecast. Ample sunshine expected this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 89. Westerly winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Clear skies and quiet tonight, lows around 66. Bright sunshine expected tomorrow, highs around 91. Upper 80s Friday, mid 90s Saturday. Hear weather twice an hour or online anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com. Currently, it's 82.
At Love It Once More Thrift Store in Clinton, we have everything you need for summer fun. And right now, all our kids and adult clothes are 10% off. This is Connie reminding you to shop here and donate here first. See us on Facebook or DeWittDailyNews.com.
This is Ryan Utterback with Utterback Real Estate. Don't get burned.
No worries. I have my SPF 1000.
It's time to list your house with us while the market's still hot.
Like picking wrapped jalapenos.
And that's why you're the other Ryan.
List your house today by clicking the Utterback Real Estate icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Life is uncertain. Stop in and see me, State Farm Agent Jason France, on the west side of the Clinton Square, or click our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com and see how our full lineup of State Farm insurance and financial services can help protect your family.
Local farm broadcaster Jared White covers the local agriculture news you need to know. Hear his reports by downloading the free WHOW mobile app.
This is John Carter, Chief of Police in Monticello. As a law enforcement officer, I've seen the impact that depression and suicide have on people. Many times, those contemplating suicide endure considerable suffering and distress. But there is help. If you feel depressed or lonely, there are many resources to help you. Call a trusted relative, friend, or minister, or call the Suicide Prevention Lifeline toll-free at 800-273-TALK. That's 800-273-TALK. All of us are here to help.
Hi, this is Len Casper, new voice of the Chicago White Sox, reminding you this is where the Sox play. WHOW AM and FM.
Brought to you by Enel Green Power's Alta Farms Wind Project, Baum Chevy Buick, Clinton Athletic Boosters, Clinton Community YMCA, Covenant Animal Clinic, Liberty Village, Midstate Eye, Nan Krang with Remax Choice, your 217 home team, Warner Hospital and Health Services, and ServPro of Piatt, DeWitt counties.
You're bringing Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show is streaming to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in this segment of the morning show is Sharon Mills with the DeWitt County Mental Health Board. Some may know it as a 708 board as well. And a good morning, Sharon. How are you today?
Seth.
Thanks for coming out and talking with us. It's great to have you in studio this morning. And for the folks out there that need a refresher, Sharon, remind us about the 708 board, mental health board. What do you do? What's this board all about?
Well, our board was established August 22nd, 1967 by voter referendum in DeWitt County. Our mission is to ensure to the best of our ability that there are services for mental health, substance use disorder, and intellectual developmental disabilities here in DeWitt County for our residents.
Sure. So been around that long, and interesting to note that even back in the 60s, that mental health was of top of mind at that point. That they put a referendum out there about that.
Yeah, the Community Mental Health Act came out, I believe, in 1965, which gave authority to establish mental health boards throughout the state of Illinois. And our board, again, was established by voter referendum, and we receive property tax levy for mental health, which then we allocate annually to health and human service providers working in one of those three main areas, as well as those who provide some prevention related services.
Sure. Very good. So in terms of the allocating those funds, how far do they go? And how much of an impact can that make, in our community? How have you seen those funds make an impact in our community over the years?
Well, it happens in a number of different ways, and there's typically a new provider that will request funds annually. A majority of our funds go to support Heritage Behavioral Health Services. And if you recall, when the Human Resource Center closed due to state budget issues, half of that agency who served developmental disabilities was able to continue as Encore Developmental Services. They receive some of our funding and are able to help employ people with disabilities, as well as support programming for them throughout the week. Heritage was able to come into DeWitt County and set up a satellite office. Their main location is in Decatur. So we were able to continue mental health services right here in the county.
Sure.
Those funds also have gone in recent years to help support positions through some of our schools to support our young people who may have mental health concerns.
Yeah. Is there an initiative, where the funding has been directed? It doesn't have to be an initiative, maybe a group. Is there an accomplishment that stands out the most about the mental health board in your time associated with it, Sharon? Is anything come to mind there for you?
I would say just the range of services that we're able to support. And then, of course, those services directly affecting, thousands of individuals annually and over the years.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we're going to dive into, start talking about the needs and resources assessment. And now just give us kind of an overview of what this is. Is it ongoing? Can folks take this assessment now? Tell us about that. Give us the details.
Okay. So we've been working on this project since last fall to both plan and then begin to implement our assessment. So that assessment is being worked on by a steering committee of health and human service organizations and community-based organizations throughout DeWitt County. And we have conducted already a provider survey. So going out to health and human service providers themselves to find out what they see as needs in the community, as well as the resources that they can offer. We're looking at public data that already exists that might relate to mental health and substance use, as well as developmental disabilities. And now we are conducting our community survey. So that opened up at the beginning or right after the 4th of July. And we expect to go through the first week of August with that, at least, depending on what kind of response that we get.
Okay. So that's ongoing, but starting to wrap up a little bit, it sounds like.
Right.
What are you looking for out of this? What kinds of questions are asked, and what are you hoping to gauge out of this assessment, Sharon?
Well, with the community survey itself, we ask people about their own experience or that they may have, or the experience they may have in caring for someone that may have a mental health problem, problematic substance use issue, or an intellectual developmental disability. What needs might they have? What is their awareness of services or resources that exist that could support them, whether they be in DeWitt County or outside of DeWitt County? Any barriers they have had in accessing services? Who would they call on first if they had an issue? So to gauge, again, awareness as well as people's comfort with actually reaching out to particular providers.
Sure.
And then any strengths that they see in the county for providing services, as well as any advice they might have to enhance services or just general quality of life here in DeWitt County.
Is this a pretty open-ended assessment in terms of, not drop-down options, like very good, adequate, like those types of things?
It's both.
Okay,
So there
okay.
are some multiple choice
Thank
questions.
you. That was a better way to put it.
As well as some open-ended questions.
Gotcha.
It is an anonymous survey. We do ask that people are over the age of 18 or older to take this survey.
Okay.
And we think it'll take about 15 minutes.
Okay. Now, you mentioned to me that there's you've got flyers with QR codes. It's online, but there's plenty of ways to find this. How do folks find the link to this survey, Sharon?
Well, I would suggest looking around town. We've been hanging posters throughout DeWitt County for this survey. But to get access to the survey, they can also go to our website. We've listed the information there. That's www.dewittcountymhb.com. And the information for the survey, the QR code, as well as a direct link to the survey are at our website. They can also look us up on Facebook. We've got the information pinned at the top of our page, which is DCCMHB. If you search for that, we've got paper surveys. They are located at any of our libraries here in DeWitt County. So shout out to our great libraries in Clinton, Farmer City, Weldon, and Waynesville for being open to participate in this survey and make this a resource available to people who may not have access to the internet.
Sure. Again, our guest in studio this morning, Sharon Mills with the DeWitt County Mental Health Board, talking about the needs and resources assessment that is going on now, and still a few weeks to get that filled out and back to them. And when this is wrapped up, Sharon, what do you hope to come away with out of this? And obviously, for you just want to learn about what the community thinks, but what do you do with that information and then go from there with it? How about that?
Well, certainly the Mental Health Board needs this information to help us with our own strategic planning, to see what needs there may be that we can help to support for the future, make funding decisions, as well as we hope that the steering committee that has been working on this project will remain together in some fashion to look at the data as a group to see what we might work on together as we go forward. And I would say that's another strength or, an accomplishment that the Mental Health Board has been a part of, is helping to encourage that collaboration among health and human service providers, so that we all have good information and can make good use of our resources.
Sure. How much of an impact do you foresee COVID having on results? Given the increase in in mental health issues, substance abuse, all of those things. How much of an impact do you think COVID will have on the results of this survey?
I'm not sure what that impact will be, but I know just from speaking with health and human service providers, the general impact that COVID has had on mental health. Certainly mental health was an issue prior to COVID, and COVID really just ramped that up, especially with depression and anxiety. Not only in adults, but in young people as well.
Sure. Well, Sharon, again, if you don't mind, as we come up on a break here for this morning, remind us how folks take the survey, where they can get access to this at.
Okay, so I would suggest going to our website, DeWittCountyMHB.com, to find all the ways to take the survey there. or accessing a paper survey at one of our DeWitt County libraries in Clinton, Farmer City, Weldon, or Waynesville.
Very good. Again, that is Sharon Mills with the DeWitt County Mental Health Board in studio with us. We've got more to come with her on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
Let's check the opening numbers now at the Chicago Board of Trade on this Wednesday. I'm Jim Taylor for the RFD Radio Network. Corn opening slightly lower, beans double-digit lower, wheat starting the day double-digit higher. September corn 5.95 3/4 down a penny. December new crop down 3 1/4, 5.92. March corn 5.98 1/2 down 3. August beans 14.60 1/4 down 17. September beans down 14, 13.61 1/2. November new crop 13.44 down 14 1/4. September wheat starting the day 8.30 3/4 up 18 1/2. December wheat up 18, 8.46. March wheat 8.59 1/4. It's up 16. August bean meal 432.50 down 2.50, and August bean oil down 19 cents. 61.70. That's a look at the opening numbers at the Chicago Board of Trade on this Wednesday morning. Jim Taylor, RFD Radio Network.
Having a hard time finding the correct new car, truck, SUV, or crossover to fit your needs? This is Scott Baum from Bob Chevrolet Buick here in Clinton. Some lots look low on inventory, so go to our website, look at our pre-order and reserve tab. You'll see inventory in transit, which are built and on their way to Clinton, and in production. New Chevys and Buicks, which are being built and will arrive soon. Or you can always call our sales team. They can help you find the correct one just for you. BombChevyBuick.com, right from the start.
Here's a supply chain update from your Clinton Save-A-Lot. Owner Dave Jackson here. Workers in retail and restaurants today are doing the best they can under very trying circumstances. That situation is no different here at your Clinton Save-A-Lot. It's been a team effort to keep our shelves stocked with the freshest meat, produce, and items you purchase every day. While many stores have cut hours and services, your Clinton Save-A-Lot has maintained our staffing level and regular hours thanks to my fantastic team of employees. Your Clinton Save-A-Lot appreciates your business, and we hope to see you soon.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show is streaming to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Again, my guest in studio this morning is Sharon Mills with the DeWitt County Mental Health Board. And just re-highlighting, Sharon, one more time, the Needs and Resources Assessment. You mentioned there's several ways that folks can find this assessment and take it. It's in paper form at libraries and all those things. Also available in Spanish for the Spanish-speaking folks in our community. How about that?
Yes, we wanted to make sure we were being as inclusive as possible. So we did work with another group to translate the survey into Spanish, and especially in Clinton, because we do have a Spanish-speaking population in Clinton who live and or work. So in Clinton, and I wanted to mention that, you know, people who are familiar with DeWitt County because maybe they work here and aren't residents here, they would be eligible to take the survey as well.
Very good. So, and again, if you don't mind, I know we've talked about this a couple of times, but it doesn't hurt to remind folks where they find this survey at and how long it's available.
Okay, so we hope to have the survey. We'll have it open at least through the first week of August. We'll see what the response is like, and if we need to extend that, we will. The best way probably to get information about the QR code or the direct links to the online survey would be going to www.dewittcountymhb.com. That is our website. Or you could look us up on Facebook, the DeWitt County Community Mental Health Board. We've got the information pinned to the top of our page. And of course, as you've mentioned, for those that don't have internet access or would prefer to take a paper-based survey, they can get one of those at one of our libraries here in DeWitt County.
All right, easy enough. So, Sharon, let's dive into, I know that over the weekend, a new hotline launched for folks in a crisis situation to seek help. Tell us about this.
Okay, so on Saturday, July 16th, the 3-digit number 988 was launched. It is meant to go to the suicide prevention hotline. But it's not just for suicide prevention. It could be for someone who is experiencing some other type of crisis that needs to be connected to a local provider. So when someone calls that 988 number, actually PATH, providing access to help in Bloomington, Illinois, is our regional call center. They will take the call initially, and if there is a need to connect them to a provider, they will do that as well. And our provider locally is Heritage Behavioral Health Center.
Very good. So 988, it's easy enough. And anything else on this, Sharon? I know I had the sheriff in a few weeks ago. He really highlighted this, and he spoke a lot to the the law enforcement side and how there's a spike in when they respond to a call, a component of mental health connected to that. Anything along those lines you'd like to highlight from your perspective?
Well, just that the importance of ensuring that we have trained personnel who are available to help respond to those calls. So I know law enforcement works closely with our health and human service providers, including Heritage, to bring them on board if and when needed. I believe we do have some crisis intervention trained law enforcement members so that they have the additional training when they recognize that mental health may be a component in the call that they are responding to, that they'll have some additional tools or skills they can use to respond to that call.
Very good. So 988 available 24/7, get you connected to a professional, and then obviously that connects to someone locally, correct?
Correct.
Very good. So take advantage of that if needed, and that launched over the weekend across the state. Let's talk a little bit about a special event going on, Sharon, that I know you're kind of keeping tabs on. It's the dodgeball event, Knocking Out the Stigma, on Friday at the high school. Tell us about this.
Okay, Knocking Out the Stigma is an event that the DeWitt County Suicide Prevention Work Group is putting on. That group is being led by Heritage Behavioral Health Center. We're having a dodgeball tournament Friday night at Clinton High School. It starts at 6 p.m. This is a free event. We will have some giveaways, some information about health and human services available to people in DeWitt County. It's an event for the whole family to come out and enjoy.
Very good. So, and of course, this highlights the DeWitt County working group, and I know that you're associated with them very closely. Tell us about this group. What have they been doing? What are they working on? What's their focus? How about some of those things, Sharon?
Well, they've done a few different things with the schools so far, bringing in a program called Ending the Silence to talk with students about suicide. And for those that are trained to facilitate that program, perhaps some of their own experiences with suicidal ideation in the past.
Right.
Not coming out of this particular group, but something else the schools have done in the past is bring in the teen mental health first aid program here to DeWitt County, in particular into Clinton High School.
Right.
So that program continues. And then just for, really both school districts as well as some of the other providers that are involved to be thinking about what can we do to share messaging, information about suicide, how to get help, and the fact that there is help out there and hope for recovery if somebody is experiencing a crisis or mental health concern.
Yeah, with the working group, is it just an initiative of collaboration amongst a lot of community partners? Are they working towards a certain goal? How about those things?
We've been a collaborative group so far. So we've just really started in the last year or so. And really in response to some of our own suicide deaths here in DeWitt County and wanting to be responsive to that in some fashion in hopes of preventing future deaths by suicide. as well as just letting people know again that there is help and support out there. You aren't alone. Please reach out for support.
Sure. Very good. So anything on that particular collaboration? Are you in need of new members, new stakeholders in the community? Anything along those lines you'd like to add this morning, Sharon?
I would say if you're interested in being a part of that work group or contributing to it in some way, that would be something to reach out to Heritage as well and see how you could be connected with that group.
Sure, very good. I want to go back to the 708 board, the mental health board, and just talk about needs that they have. Are you in need of board members? Are you in need of volunteers? How can the community step up and help your efforts?
Well, currently, I'm happy to say we do have a full board. As you know, we did lose a longtime board member in Dr. Harold Allen. But since his passing, we do have a full board, but we're always keeping our eye out for people who might be interested in working with the board in some way and as a potential board member in the future.
Sure. When the 708 board meets, what is the discussion like? I mean, is it always about, funding and where to direct that? Do you focus on other things? How about those conversations within a typical meeting of the mental health board?
Well, it really depends on the time of year. We are wrapping up right now our annual allocation process. Really, that started with some advertising in May, applications being written in June. So the mental health board right now is reviewing applications, discussing those. We'll be meeting with providers to discuss their applications. So that really is taking up a majority of the meeting last month and next month as we start to think about a budget to propose for the following year. We have had different events going on in the past, so we might be discussing or planning for those events, talking about particular issues that might be happening in the community with various providers and how we might be able to be supportive of that.
Sure. Well, Sharon, I apologize. We're quickly running out of time. How do, again, folks learn more about the needs and resources assessment? Where can they find that?
I'd say go to our website, www.dewittcountymhb.com. That would be the fastest route to us.
Easy enough. Very good. Sharon, always good to talk to you. Thanks so much for taking time with us. Again, that is Sharon Mills with the DeWitt County Mental Health Board. In studio with us, the morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. If you miss any of our programming here this morning, part of our conversation with Sharon, perhaps you just jumped in the middle of that, you can also check out the archives of these streams at Facebook and YouTube as well. And you can check us out online all the time at DeWittDailyNews.com. Network news on the way on the WHOW Morning Show.